Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Browns Jags halftime show with the halftime score. The Browns 13 and the Jags 3. Uh, I'll tell you that the teams come out and played hard. I mean, I'm going to say good things because good things need to be said. Although I will start out with the funny things about how things work out, like Amari Cooper dropping an easy, clear wide in the open pass and has dropped two passes and is playing comatose football. That would be the first thing that I think is odd, seeing as how Elijah Moore actually caught a couple of passes and didn't drop any. The other thing is Dustin Hopkins just blanking out and crossing the 50-yard line on what would have been a real bone-crushing turnover for the Jaguars, and they were able to regroup and come down the field and get a field goal. I think that the Browns have played serious-minded football. And a lot of people are participating in this. I'm seeing a lot of practice squad names on the field. I'm seeing guys like Ifedi playing extended downs. I'm seeing guys in the secondary. I'm seeing McLeod back there. I'm seeing a bunch of people that I'm not all that familiar with. But they're obviously running these people in and out to keep their lineup fresh, and it's working out. A fantastic fourth down call by Stefanski that fooled everybody in the stadium. A perfect example of you have the sneak quarterback Jameis Winston come in and basically pitch the ball to Ford, and nobody's outside. And once he's got his head pointed straight forward, he's got some pretty good speed down the field. I thought that was a hell of a call. And absolutely, Stefanski did call a hell of a half of football after what we saw last week, which was not good at all. I remind everybody that it's still only 13-3. We've dominated statistically. Trevor Lawrence is 5 of 11 for 16 yards. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson, 11 of 15 for 108 yards. Jerome Ford has 62 yards rushing, predominantly on one play. Deontay Foreman started out the game giving us some good hard running, and that's been good. Deshaun Watson has avoided the negative play by at least scrambling out of trouble. It's interesting. One down played by Dearness Johnson for Jacksonville. I didn't notice him, but he had done such a nice job for us in a backup role a couple of years ago. Receiving-wise, Elijah Moore with 4 catches, Jerry Jeudy with 2, David Bell back on the squad with 2, Jordan Akins with 1, Pierre Strong with 1, 4 targets for Amari Cooper, no receptions, and that's a little bit surprising under the circumstances. He was wide open on the play on a perfect throw. That would have been another 40 yards onto Deshaun Watson's totals. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Deshaun Watson, because he's playing a very controlled, very sound football game. He's running the offense. He's putting the ball right where it can be caught. He hasn't thrown any bad passes. Got lucky a little bit with one downfield on a third down play to get a first down to Jerry Jeudy on a little juggling act thing in traffic. But other than that, there have been no forces. He seems to be more at ease, and he's putting the ball on the numbers. So you can't say anything bad about Deshaun Watson. The network brings up the story over and over again, but the fact is he's outplayed Trevor Lawrence so severely that it's not even a competitive first half. But it can change so quickly. The Browns are going to get the ball to begin the second half and have to do the same types of things. Now, Jim Hammer is saying that the radio said DeWand was having water dumped on him, but never mentioned anything specific. Golden showers, perhaps. I have no idea. I'm so used to seeing, cramping. Thank you, David. David Talevsky, who is one of our great contributors on Moohead Radio, states that he was cramping. Very humid in Florida, and now it's raining in Florida, but that doesn't clear up the humidity this time of year in southern Florida, and they're not even in the far south. I think that this is a good example of playing one really superior half of defensive football and solid possession offense. This is what I had been talking about last week. The only way we were going to win was if we controlled the line of scrimmage, got first downs, and controlled the clock. Again, going back to statistics on this, on time of possession, I don't think that, I don't know if I have this yet, team stats, I can bring this up, I believe. It's astounding. 20 minutes to 9:54. That's over 2-1 in time possession for the Browns, who have 11 first downs to only 4 for the Jaguars. The Browns have played a really good half of football. Like I keep saying, 10 points is nothing in the NFL. A quick turnover, can get the fans right back in the game. The Browns, for their part, getting the ball to start out the second half, need to put more points on the board. Love to see a touchdown drive. I really liked when they got down close, Watson taking the ball in himself. And I could tell once it went empty backfield that he was going to run with that football. That was not going to be a pass play with Nick Harris lining up wide. And he made the right cut up the middle. People are playing much smarter today than last week. Yeah, exactly, Jim. That's part of the new rules of this crazy kickoff. He was kicking the ball from closer up, coming off of a penalty, and he crossed the 50-yard line, and he's not allowed to do that. You can only have so many people in the tackle zone, and that's just blanking out. That's a mental mistake that he can't afford to make, and it cost us deep possession for the ball, with the ball. David is pointing out that the Raiders and Ravens are tied at 6. I'm sure not for long. What was amazing to me was seeing that the Dallas Cowboys have given up 28 first half points to the New Orleans Saints, and that Derek Carr has thrown for over 200 yards in the first half. That one has thrown me for a loop, because the team we saw last week, we must have been really bad, because the team we saw in Cleveland was unbeatable, and now at home they're having all kinds of difficulty playing New Orleans. I believe Dallas is at home in this game. I'm not sure. It is an early start, so maybe it is in New Orleans, but my goodness, you wouldn't have expected that to happen. What's it going to take in the second half, folks? Like I said, it's going to take more of the same, and there's going to be adjustments made on the part of the Jaguars, because things aren't going well. From an offensive perspective, they've got to figure out a way to move the chains. And I'm kind of surprised we're not seeing more of ATN and testing the Browns' second unit defensive line when they were in the game. That's when we gave up the long drive, but didn't let them get into the end zone. And that's a problem for the Browns. They're playing a lot of guys. It's kind of like having a deep bullpen, because we just have so many damn injuries. And David is saying, yes, Dallas is in Dallas. And boy, are they laying an egg in front of the hometown fans. Sounds like us last week. And as far as, you're right, Ron Shane, you got to get to Trevor Lawrence. And first you start by sacking him if you can. And then the second thing is mistakes. There's as great a mistake that he could make a mistake as anyone else on the field if he's trying to force the ball downfield. You want him running on the run, and especially if you can get him running to his left where he tries to throw back behind himself. He doesn't have enough arm to pull that off. So far, the things that he's completed have been short and over the middle. Force him to go flush him, in other words, to his left, and then kind of force him to throw across his body. And he might have a chance to step in front of somebody. And honestly, Emerson did step in front of somebody. And I think he was so busy trying to figure out a way to roll and get up to his feet, he dropped the ball. But that looked like it was an interception. And, he lost possession because he was trying to do too much. And I understand the defense wants to score points. Everybody's working real hard. So you'll never hear me complain against a team that's playing hard, smart football. So far, that's the case. Look at this. Rick May saying the first half rating for Derek Carr is a 158.3, and it's 35-13 at the half. My goodness. Unbelievable. So that's what I have to say. Right now, it's nothing but Skittles and beer, happiness after the first half. And I'm with Roxanne, in more ways than one. Go Browns. Let's get this thing done in the second half. I will see you right after the game on the post-game show. Until then, keep our fingers crossed, and let's hope for that good first possession that really sets and establishes the tempo and the pace and the attitude for the second half. See ya right after the game. Bye-bye.